Alright guys, Iceborne's dropping in 1 week from today, and I thought I'd give you guys some tips about how to transition well into the game. I haven't personally played Iceborne yet, but I built up a lot of knowledge playing Monster Hunter World, and I thought I'd give you guys some tips to help your hunts go better in the future. Now these tips are going to sound a little bit self-explanatory for people over hunting rank 150, but everyone lower than that, you might find something new here that will help you. Some of these tips are going to go from inventory to skill sets and weapon choice, and aside from that, let's just jump into it.
Farm jewels.
Alright, so I think that one of the biggest steps going into Iceborne, if you've already beaten the story mode and already know what weapon you're playing, is to get your gems. The thing about the gems is they're going to take time to get. There's not an easy way to just get the gems. They drop randomly. I still to this day only have 3 attack jewels. Everyone gets them at different speeds, but there are certain ones that you're going to want to get for your certain weapons. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole list of what you need, but say you're playing bow. I like to play bow a lot in this game. Some of the important gems that you're going to want to look for are Mighty Bow Jewel and Force Shot and Spread Shot. Aside from that, you can get your elemental damage. You can really build in a lot of different things to bow, but there are some gems that are weapon specific. Say, if you're using Lance, Shield Jewel is really important, and it's still not one that I have after becoming Hunter rank 179. So you're going to want to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what you can do. And if you didn't know about this already, you can go to the Melder to try to use the jewels that you've gotten in the previous hunts to get new gems in the future. So when you get to the Melder, you're going to want to go down to the first Wyverian ritual. And you'll have 3 different options here. You can check the wiki for Monster Hunter to see exactly which gems have the best chance of dropping at which tier that you're melding. Usually what you're looking for is in your Strange Stream gems. And basically what you want to do is you want to hit the exact amount of points to craft a new gem with the gems that you're willing to get rid of. So I don't actually need 16 antidote jewels. I usually tend to stick around keeping at least 8 of them. There are certain ones that you're gonna want to keep and certain ones that you're not, just because you might find a build that you like that needs 7 defense jewels. However, you're gonna want to get to the melding points needed, and then you're gonna go ahead and meld a jewel, and it will use one of your gleaming stream stones or different types of stream stones depending on exactly what you're making. But you'll get 3 worn phase stone. And with these phase stone, when you take them, you have chances to drop different types of jewels. And you're not always going to get exactly what you're looking for, but that's just kind of the way the jewels work in this game. So make sure that you're looking for which types of gems that you need, or jewels that you need, and start putting them into your builds. Or save them so that when you make builds in the future, you'll be able to do what you want with them. Hey, why are you using bow? This next step may seem a little bit self-explanatory, but learn your weapon. And probably not just one weapon. Learn a few different weapons to know what you like. Some monsters are vastly easier with different weapons, and if you know what you're doing with them, it's going to make it a lot easier. Throughout my playtime, I can play just about all the weapons, minus the bow guns, proficiently. Some of them better than others. But let's say, know why your weapons are good. Know how to use your different coatings. I know, let's say that the bow has different amounts of shots depending on how long you charge or how you fire. The fire rate will change the shots. And you can use your different types of shots. So know when to use your side shots or when to just charge. Know when to drop the seeds on the monster's head. A lot of this is going to compile into how quickly you kill the monster. And you're going to want to know your defensive skills too, like my evasive window for bow, and how that will change between your weapons. Now, what's important to look at here is also how your jewels will fit into this. I need to know that my force shot jewel and my spread jewel are adding to my damage of the bow, and my mighty bow jewel each have their own contributions to the weapon. Now, this is again is going to be too extensive for this video in particular, but there's a lot of information online to figure out exactly what the jewels do for each weapon and how to optimize your builds.
Hey, how'd you knock the monster over?
Okay, so this skill is something that is a little bit less self-explanatory, but it's going to be a little bit obvious. And that is know the moveset of the monster or learn it quickly. A lot of this comes from being conscientious of the monster's attacks. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to record and do this at the same time, but we're looking at a high rank Anjanath. You can tell when he's going to roar. Like there are certain patterns where you see that double roar, where you can roll through the roar predicting it. There's other basic knowledge of the monster that you're going to want to figure out, such as where to stand or how your weapon can avoid the attacks of the monster you're fighting. So I know personally from fighting this monster that I can sit under his legs, and there's not a lot he can do. I misread that for a roar, but basically, if you sit under his legs here, there's not a whole lot he can do. He might do side steps. I thought that his leg was going to hit me there, so I used one of the built-in defensive tools of the longsword to try to dodge any damage that he was going to be throwing my way. I know that I can trip this monster as well, so if I'm using moves that are hitting his leg, I'm going to be able to get a lot of damage by knocking him over just like that. So basically, you're going to want to know the attack patterns of the monster and how to deal with it. I would say going into Iceborne, there's going to be a lot of attacks that we haven't seen before, and how to deal with that is to really watch how they telegraph and remember the patterns. If you get hit by something 3 times in a fight and it's killing you, you should look for the indicators of what's happening before you get hit with that move. So let's say that Diablos has a very obvious charge attack. Well, he'll roar his feet and kind of shake his head like a bull. You need to know that he's running at you and how long that lasts, or when he's vulnerable afterwards. So again, with this monster, I'm going to sit under his legs because I get a good chance of tripping, and it's fairly safe for me compared to standing in front of it. And this is not a weapon that I need to know how to hit his head with. This is something that I'm going to use to try to slice the tail. So using that information going into Iceborne, you're going to be a lot more successful, especially if you use the previous tip and learn how to use different weapons proficiently.
Guys, we're out of potions.
Alright, and my final tip is a little bit combined between crafting and ingredients. When you're crafting, you want to make sure that you're farming the resources that you want at all times. This botanical garden is not something you're going to want to pass up. The research center allows for you per quest to compile extra resources during your hunts. Basically, right now what I'm looking for is god bugs, adamant seeds, and mite seeds because I like to buff my team with powders when we go into a fight, whether it's defensive or offensive. At the same time, you're going to want to know what foods to eat and what to keep in your inventory, such as your power charms, anything that gives you extra offense or defense. Look into the 4 items that you can use for that specific task, which are going to be your power talent, your armor charm, and your power charm. Those are going to help you out on the hunt, and you're always going to want those in your inventory. At the same time, when you go to the canteen, you want to know what skills you're looking for when you want to eat. Sometimes it's not worth it if you're not super serious about how fast you want to take down a monster, or if you're just looking for something basic, you can use the presets for your food. I'm not going to go into the whole list of ingredients and how to combine them to get exactly what you want, but it is worthwhile to look into your food skills. It's important to know, let's say if you get feline moxie or something along those lines, what those are going to do and how they're going to help your hunt. Obviously, if you get something like feline insurance, you're going to want to know that that gives you an extra cart per game. And so if you look through these different types of food skills, they're actually going to be more important than the health and stamina that you get while you're eating this food. So I would say do some personal research on how to get the ingredients that you want for your hunt and how they're going to benefit your play style. Alright guys, I hope that those tips were helpful going into Iceborne coming in just about a week now. So for anyone watching, if you have anything that you specifically want to know or see, just let me know. You can find me playing this game when it comes out at twitch.tv/Chileo. I'll leave a link in the description. And aside from that, have a great day, guys.
I felt the breeze of a summer's night and remember thinking there's no place on earth that feels more right than here.